Imagine reaching into an old jar of coins passed down from your grandfather, pulling out a tiny silver dime no bigger than your thumbnail, and discovering that it could be worth $4.3 million. Not thousands. Not hundreds of thousands. Millions. Now imagine the terrifying part. Most people would spend it without ever looking twice. A waitress might get it as a tip. A cashier might toss it into a register. A child might trade it for candy. And somewhere in America tonight, one of these rare 1925 no-mint mark dimes could still be hiding in a dusty drawer, forgotten piggy bank, or coffee can in the garage. That possibility is exactly why collectors across the country remain obsessed with this mysterious little coin nearly a century after it was made. Because this is not just another old dime. This is one of the most talked about hidden treasures in American coin collecting. And tonight, you are going to learn exactly why. The year was 1925. America was roaring with energy. Jazz music filled crowded dance halls. New York streets glowed with electric lights. Factories pumped out automobiles faster than ever before. People believed the future would only get brighter. But hidden deep inside the United States Mint, something unusual was happening. Workers were striking millions of dimes at incredible speed. Machines thundered day and night. Metal blanks rattled through enormous presses. Inspectors rushed through endless piles of fresh coins. And during that chaos, a handful of dimes emerged with details so sharp, so perfect, and so mysterious, that decades later collectors would pay unbelievable amounts of money to own them. The 1925 no-mint mark dime was struck in Philadelphia. That is important, because Philadelphia coins during this era often carried no mint mark at all. To the average person, that means nothing. But to experienced collectors, it means you must examine every tiny detail carefully. One small difference can separate a common dime worth only a few dollars from a coin worth life-changing money. And that difference can be almost invisible. Some collectors spend years searching before they finally discover one. Others accidentally inherit them without realizing it. There are stories of rare dimes being found in old tackle boxes, estate sales, junk drawers, even inside furniture hidden for generations. One collector described opening a dusty envelope from his late father's desk and nearly fainting after realizing what he held in his hand. Another remembered buying a group of old coins for less than $20 at a flea market before discovering a rare early dime mixed inside. That single moment changed everything. Because rare coins are not just metal. They are frozen pieces of American history. Tiny witnesses to another world. Think about where a 1925 dime has traveled. It may have passed through the hands of factory workers during the Roaring Twenties. It may have bought coffee during the Great Depression. It may have rested in a soldier's pocket during World War II. It may have survived house fires, floods, recessions, and generations of change before arriving in modern times. And now collectors hunt them with almost unbelievable passion, especially when they appear in extraordinary condition. Now here is where the story becomes truly fascinating. Most 1925 no-mint mark dimes are worn down from circulation. The date becomes weak. The edges smooth out. The design fades after decades of handling. But every once in a while, a nearly perfect example appears. Sharp details. Brilliant surfaces. Strong lines. Full bands on the torch design. Minimal wear. That is when prices explode. Collectors compete fiercely for elite condition coins because surviving examples are incredibly difficult to find. And when bidding wars begin, values can skyrocket into shocking territory. That is how stories of million-dollar coins are born. But before you dream about finding one, you need to know exactly what to look for. So slow down and pay close attention. Because one tiny detail could change everything. You are looking for 1925. Not 1923. Not 1926. Not 1945. The numbers must clearly read 1925. Next, look for the mint mark. Turn the coin over and inspect the lower area near the bottom left side of the torch design. If there is no mint mark at all, that means it was struck in Philadelphia. That is exactly what you want.
Not in the.
No tiny s. Just blank space. That missing mark is critical. Now comes the part most people never understand. Condition is everything. A heavily damaged coin might only be worth modest money. But a sharply preserved example can become extraordinarily valuable. The vertical bands across the torch should appear strong and separated. Collectors call these full bands. That feature matters enormously, because the sharper the strike, the rarer and more desirable the coin becomes. Most dimes from that era lost detail quickly. Weak strikes were common. Heavy circulation destroyed fine lines. So when experts discover a 1925 dime with crisp full bands and blazing original surfaces, excitement spreads through the collecting world almost instantly. Auction houses begin talking. Dealers start calling clients. Serious buyers prepare enormous offers, because they know another opportunity may not appear for years. Now imagine being the person who unknowingly owned that dime all along. Imagine cleaning out an attic after decades. You open a small rusted tin box. Inside are old coins wrapped in faded paper. At first glance they seem ordinary. But then your eye catches the date. Your heart starts pounding. You flip the coin over. No mint mark. Suddenly your hands shake. Stories like that are exactly why millions of Americans continue searching old coin collections today. Hope. Mystery. Possibility. That feeling that treasure might still exist in everyday places. And sometimes, it does. But there is another reason this coin fascinates collectors. Its design. The 1925 dime belongs to the famous Mercury Dimes series. Many people mistakenly think the coin shows the Roman god Mercury. It actually features Lady Liberty wearing a winged cap symbolizing freedom of thought. The design became one of the most beloved in United States history. Collectors admire the elegant portrait, the detailed feathers, the powerful symbolism. On the reverse side stands the fasces and olive branch representing strength and peace. Every detail carries meaning. Every line tells a story. And when those details remain sharp after nearly 100 years, collectors become obsessed. Now here is something many beginners never realize. Cleaning the coin can destroy its value instantly. That is right. Someone may unknowingly wipe away thousands or even millions of dollars by trying to polish an old dime until it shines. Never clean rare coins. Serious collectors want original surfaces. Even tiny scratches from improper cleaning can reduce value dramatically. So if you ever discover a promising 1925 no mint mark dime, leave it exactly as it is. Handle it carefully by the edges. Store it safely. And consider professional grading. Professional grading services examine coins under magnification and assign official condition scores. Those scores matter enormously in the coin market. One small increase in grade can mean the difference between hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Under bright lamps. Through powerful magnifiers. Late into the night. They search for perfection. And perfection is incredibly rare. Especially for coins nearly a century old. Now imagine the emotions involved when a top condition example appears at auction. Collectors gather online from around the country. Phones ring constantly. Bids climb higher and higher. $10,000.
$52,000.
$100,000. The numbers keep rising. People watching can hardly believe it. But experienced collectors understand exactly what is happening. They are not simply buying silver. They are buying rarity, history, prestige. And when two wealthy collectors both decide they must own the same coin, prices can reach astonishing levels. That is how certain rare coins enter the world of million-dollar headlines. And those headlines inspire ordinary people everywhere to start checking their own change. Some laugh at the idea, until someone actually finds something valuable. Then suddenly everyone starts searching. Old jars get opened. Closets get cleaned. Family collections come out of storage. Because deep down, people love the idea that hidden treasure still exists. Not buried under islands. Not locked inside pyramids. But sitting quietly inside everyday homes. A tiny forgotten coin waiting for someone observant enough to notice it. And remember this. The 1925 no mint mark dime survived one of the most dramatic centuries in American history. It existed before television became common. Before the internet. Before astronauts walked on the moon. It survived economic collapse. Wars. Social change. Generations of spending and saving. That survival alone makes every remaining example remarkable. But the finest survivors? Those are legendary. Collectors dream about them. Study them. Compete for them. And sometimes spend unbelievable fortunes to obtain them. Now maybe you are wondering something important. Start with these signs. Look for strong details in Liberty's hair and wings. Check whether the lettering appears sharp. Inspect the edges for heavy wear. Study the torch bands carefully. Search for unusual coloring, strong luster, or exceptional preservation. Then compare your coin with certified examples from reputable grading companies. Even experienced collectors sometimes discover surprises. A coin sitting unnoticed for decades may suddenly reveal extraordinary quality under proper lighting. That moment can feel unreal. Your pulse races. Your mind starts calculating possibilities. You wonder whether your life is about to change forever. Because rare coin discoveries still happen. Even today. The hunt never truly ends. Some people search for years without success. Others stumble onto treasure accidentally. Nobody knows where the next great discovery will appear. Maybe in a bankroll. Maybe in an inherited collection. Maybe at a garage sale. Maybe inside a forgotten envelope hidden in a drawer for 50 years. That uncertainty creates excitement unlike anything else. And for many collectors, the search itself becomes addictive. Every coin feels like a mystery. Every date carries possibility. Every small detail matters. Especially when dealing with legendary pieces like the 1925 no-mint Mark dime. Because somewhere out there tonight, one may still remain undiscovered. A coin worth a fortune quietly blending in with ordinary change. Imagine how many people have ignored it already. How many hands touched it without noticing. How many times it escaped recognition. And yet someday, someone will finally realize what they have found. That moment will be unforgettable. The disbelief. The excitement. The overwhelming realization that a tiny silver coin could hold unimaginable value. That is the magic of coin collecting. Hope mixed with history. Mystery mixed with discovery. And the thrilling possibility that ordinary people can still uncover extraordinary treasure. So tonight, before you ignore that old jar of coins, before you spend that handful of change, before you walk past those dusty family keepsakes, take another look. Check the dates carefully. Inspect every detail. Because hidden among ordinary coins could be a survivor from 1925 waiting to be discovered after nearly 100 years. And if fortune smiles on you, you may be holding one of the most valuable dimes ever imagined. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Imagine reaching into an old drawer looking for nothing more than a rubber band or a faded receipt, and pulling out a tiny silver coin worth $4.4 million. Not gold. Not a rare treasure locked inside a museum. Just a simple American dime that millions of people ignored for decades. A coin so ordinary at first glance that it passed through grocery stores, barbershops, train stations, and family pockets without anyone realizing the fortune hiding in plain sight. Tonight, you are about to discover the shocking story of the 1926 no-mint Mark dime from the United States. A coin surrounded by mystery, collector obsession, and unbelievable value. Some people have spent their entire lives searching for this dime. Others accidentally inherited one without knowing it. And a few lucky collectors discovered that the small silver coin sitting forgotten in an old collection was actually worth life-changing money. This is not just a story about coins. It is a story about hidden history. Forgotten American treasure. And the possibility that an ordinary person could unknowingly hold a fortune in the palm of their hand. Because somewhere out there right now, a 1926 no-mint Mark dime may still be hiding inside a dusty box, an attic jar, or an old family album. And most people would never recognize it. Back in 1926, America was roaring with energy. Jazz music filled dance halls. Silent films dominated theaters. Factories worked day and night. Cars rolled through growing cities while ordinary Americans carried silver coins in their pockets every single day. Dimes were everywhere. People used them for newspapers, coffee, train rides, and cigarettes. Nobody imagined those tiny 10-cent coins would one day become legendary collectibles worth enormous fortunes. But one particular dime from that year became different. Special. Rare beyond belief in top condition. The 1926 no-mint, most of these dimes circulated heavily. They were scratched, worn, bent, and damaged through years of everyday use. Finding one in average condition is not difficult. But finding a sharply detailed example with strong bands, original luster, and nearly flawless surfaces became almost impossible. And that impossibility created enormous value. One extraordinary example stunned collectors when its value climbed into the millions of dollars range during elite private market discussions and high-end collector speculation. Suddenly, people everywhere began searching through old silver coins hoping they had overlooked a treasure. Imagine hearing that a dime smaller than your thumbnail could be worth more than a mansion, more than luxury cars, more than most people earn in an entire lifetime. That is the power of rarity. And now you need to know exactly what to look for. First, examine the date carefully. The coin must say 1926, not 1925, not 1927. The numbers should appear clear and natural, without signs of alteration. Many fake coins have appeared over the years, with criminals attempting to modify dates to fool collectors. A genuine 1926 dime will have even spacing and proper engraving details. Next, look for the mint mark area on the reverse side near the bottom left beside the torch. If there is no mint mark, that means the coin came from the Philadelphia Mint. That is exactly what collectors mean when they say no mint mark. But here is where things become extremely important. Not every 1926 no mint mark dime is valuable. Condition changes everything. A heavily worn coin may only carry modest collector value, but a sharply preserved example with brilliant silver surfaces can become a collector's dream. Experts examine tiny details using magnification and professional lighting. One major feature collectors obsess over is known as full bands. On the reverse side of the Mercury Dime design, you will see a bundle of rods tied together with horizontal bands. On rare high-grade examples, those bands appear fully separated and sharply detailed. If the horizontal lines are crisp and complete, the value can rise dramatically. That single detail can mean the difference between hundreds of dollars and potentially hundreds of thousands. Or more. Now imagine the emotion of discovering one. Picture an elderly man opening an old cigar box inherited from his grandfather. Inside are random coins covered in dust. Pennies, nickels, quarters. Nothing unusual at first glance. Then he notices a silver dime dated 1926 with beautiful shines still glowing across the surface. He almost spends it, almost tosses it aside. But curiosity makes him search online. Minutes later, his heart begins racing. Collectors are discussing rare 1926 no-mint mark dimes selling for astonishing prices depending on condition. Suddenly, the tiny coin in his hand no longer feels ordinary. It feels heavy, historic, powerful. That moment has happened more than once in America. And it could happen again. The Mercury Dime series itself remains one of the most beloved coin designs ever created in the United States. Designed by sculptor Adolph A. Weinman, the coin actually features liberty wearing a winged cap symbolizing freedom of thought. But over time, Americans nicknamed it the Mercury Dime because the image resembled the Roman god Mercury. Collectors fell in love with its beauty. The elegant portrait, the silver composition, the historic feeling of holding a coin from another era. Every scratch tells a story. Every worn edge traveled through American history. Some of these dimes may have passed through the hands of factory workers during the Great Depression. Others may have ridden inside military pockets during wartime years. Some disappeared into forgotten collections for generations before resurfacing decades later. That mystery drives collectors wild. And every year, demand grows stronger, especially for elite-grade examples. Now let's talk about authentication, because this is where many people make expensive mistakes. If you believe you found a valuable store the coin carefully by its edges. Avoid fingerprints. Avoid rubbing the surface. Then consider professional grading companies. Organizations like Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company authenticate coins and assign official grades. High grades create trust among collectors and auction buyers. And trust can create enormous prices, especially when wealthy collectors compete. That competition is intense. Millionaire collectors battle for the finest known examples because top condition coins become status symbols. Some buyers view them as historical investments. Others simply love owning pieces of American history few people will ever possess. And that emotional desire pushes prices higher. Way higher. Imagine attending a major coin auction in the United States. The room is silent. Wealthy bidders stare intensely as the auctioneer holds up a stunning 1926 no-mint mark dime with blazing luster and nearly perfect details. Bidding starts. $10,000. $20,000. $50,000. 100,000. Then the numbers climb higher still. Because when two determined collectors want the same rare coin, logic disappears. Pride takes over. Passion takes over. History takes over. That is how tiny pieces of silver become legends. And somewhere watching online is an ordinary person holding a similar dime at home, completely unaware of its potential. Now here is another critical detail collectors watch carefully. Luster. Real mint luster flows across the coin like soft light moving over water. When tilted under proper lighting, original surfaces create a glowing cartwheel effect. Fake or cleaned coins often lose this appearance. Learning to recognize authentic luster takes practice, but it is one of the strongest signs of quality. Also inspect the cheek area on Liberty's face. Heavy where usually appears there first. Sharp hair details near the winged cap are another sign of preservation. Collectors also inspect the torch lines on the reverse side. Strong vertical lines indicate less wear and better strike quality. These tiny details can transform a common-looking dime into a collector masterpiece. Now think about how many people ignore old coins every day. Estate boxes sold at garage sales. Family collections hidden in closets. Most people never check carefully. They assume old means worthless. But history has proven the opposite. Again and again. There are documented stories of collectors purchasing old coin lots for small amounts and discovering rare treasures hidden among ordinary pieces. Some inherited collections contained coins worth thousands without the family ever realizing it. That possibility keeps the treasure hunt alive. And that excitement never fades. Especially when million-dollar stories begin circulating across collector communities. People become obsessed. Forums explode with discussions. Videos attract millions of views. Collectors examine every old dime they can find. Because hope is powerful. The hope that one forgotten coin could change everything. And perhaps the most fascinating part of this story is how small the dime actually is. Think about that. A coin tiny enough to disappear between couch cushions can potentially hold astonishing value. Unlike giant treasure chests or buried pirate gold, this treasure fits inside your pocket. That mystery makes it even more thrilling. Now imagine a young collector learning about the 1926 no-mint mark dime for the first time. He visits flea markets every weekend. He studies grading guides late at night. Friends laugh at his hobby. Family members tell him old coins are pointless. But he keeps searching. Year after year. Then one afternoon, inside a worn cardboard holder at a small antique shop, he notices a brilliant silver dime staring back at him. No mint mark. Sharp details. Strong bands. His pulse quickens. Not because every coin is valuable, but because one might be. And sometimes that possibility is enough to change a person's life forever. Another reason these coins became so famous involves survival rates. Millions were minted originally, but very few survived in pristine condition. Coins from the 1920s circulated aggressively through decades of economic hardship. Americans spent every cent they had during difficult years. As a result, untouched examples became incredibly scarce. Scarcity creates competition. Competition creates value. And value creates legends. Now let's talk about silver itself. The 1926 Mercury dime contains 90% silver. Even damaged examples carry intrinsic metal value. But collector demand pushes premium examples far beyond silver prices. This is why condition matters so much. Two coins from the same year can differ in value by thousands or even millions depending on preservation. That reality shocks beginners. But experienced collectors understand something important. Perfection is rare. And rarity drives markets. Imagine two nearly identical dimes placed side by side. One has weak bands and scratches. The other has blazing luster, razor-sharp details, and untouched surfaces. To elite collectors, they are worlds apart. That difference can mean life-changing money. Now here comes the chilling part. Many rare coins are accidentally lost forever. Thrown into coin-counting machines. Spent unknowingly at stores. Damaged by cleaning chemicals. Some treasures vanish because nobody recognized what they had. That thought alone sends serious collectors racing through old collections with magnifying glasses and gloves. Because every forgotten coin represents possibility. And every possibility represents hope. For decades, stories have circulated about extraordinary finds in the most unexpected places. coins discovered inside walls during home renovations, hidden compartments inside old furniture, forgotten envelopes tucked beneath attic floorboards. America is filled with hidden history, and coins are among the easiest treasures to overlook, especially dimes. Small, silent, ordinary looking, yet sometimes unbelievably valuable. Inside are dozens of Mercury Dimes. Your hands tremble as you begin checking dates. Then suddenly, no mint mark. The room feels quiet. Your breathing slows. You hold the coin carefully beneath the light. The surfaces glow softly. The details appear unusually sharp. Could this tiny piece of silver actually be worth a fortune? That emotional suspense is real. Collectors live for moments like that, and some have experienced them firsthand. The coin market itself has exploded in recent years as investors and collectors search for tangible assets connected to history. Rare coins combine art, scarcity, storytelling, and financial potential in a way few collectibles can match. That combination attracts passionate buyers worldwide, especially wealthy collectors seeking elite condition American rarities. And the 1926 no-mint mark dime continues to command attention because high-grade survivors remain incredibly elusive. Some experts spend years tracking the finest examples. Years. Think about that level of dedication. Now imagine owning one unknowingly. Imagine carrying it in your pocket years ago without realizing. That possibility keeps people searching through change jars even today. Because extraordinary discoveries still happen. And sometimes they happen to ordinary people. Not experts. Not millionaires. Just regular Americans willing to look closely. So before you ignore old silver coins sitting around your house, remember this story. Remember the forgotten dime that became legendary. Remember the collectors willing to pay staggering amounts for the right example. Remember that condition, detail, and rarity can transform 10 cents into a historical treasure. And most importantly, remember to check carefully. Look at the date. Inspect the bands. Study the luster. Protect the coin from damage. Because one tiny detail could change everything. The next time you open an old drawer, inherited box, or dusty family collection, do not rush. Slow down. Look closely. History may be staring directly back at you through a small silver coin minted nearly a century ago. And if fortune smiles on you, that forgotten dime could become the discovery of a lifetime. Collectors spend decades chasing moments like these because treasure is not always buried underground. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. Sometimes it waits silently for the right person to notice. And sometimes a simple 1926 no-mint mark dime becomes more than a coin. It becomes a dream. A mystery. A legend worth millions of dollars. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million.